Welcome, dear friends, and today we are going to learn about hypertension. Now, hypertension it is defined as high blood pressure. Blood pressure is nothing but it is the force which the blood is going to put against the walls of the arteries and it flows through them. Arteries are the blood vessels that carry oxygenated blood from heart to the body tissues. So we can say blood pressure is nothing but it is a product of cardiac output into peripheral resistance. The more the blood exerts the pressure on the artery wall, the higher is going to be your blood pressure. The artery size it also definitely affects the blood pressure. When the muscular wall of the arteries it relaxes or dilates, pressure of the blood is lower than the constriction of arterial wall. So the systolic pressure is nothing but the pressure of the blood when the heart beats, or we can say when the heart contracts. And diastolic pressure is the blood pressure when the heart is at rest or the heart is relaxed. So when BP is measured, systolic is measured first and then diastolic is measured. BP is measured is in mm of mercury, that is mmHg. Hypertension is said to occur when the BP is at or above 140 by 90 mmHg. The normal BP is in between the normal BP is said to be 120 by 80 mmHg. Now, what are the symptoms of hypertension? In most of the cases, BP is not going to give you any type of symptom. But in some cases, the person is dizzy, there is headache, there is heart palpitation, nose bleeding, shortness of breath, anger, red face, visual problems, fatigue, insomnia, sore knees, and raised temperature. If hypertension is left untreated, it can lead to atherosclerosis, heart attack, stroke, enlarged heart, and kidney damage. Basically, hypertension is classified into two types: primary hypertension and secondary hypertension. The primary hypertension is the most common cause and in which the cause of BP is unknown. Mostly it results into 80 to 95% of the cases. The secondary hypertension, here the cause is known. We can say it is caused by disease of the kidneys or the endocrines or other organs, and it constitutes for 5 to 20% of the cases. Both the above mentioned hypertension, they can be benign or malignant. Now, what is benign hypertension? In benign hypertension, there is moderate elevation of the BP and the rise is slow over the years. Okay. So 90 to 95% of the population is suffering from benign hypertension. In case of malignant hypertension, there is in sudden and marked rise in the BP. Okay, the BP can shoot up to 200 to 140. The patient develops papilledema, retinal hemorrhage, and hypersensitive encephalopathy. The life expectancy after diagnosis is very less, and it might be lesser than 2 years if not treated. Now, the etiology, we know that cardiac output into peripheral resistance is the blood pressure. The factors which affect either the cardiac output or the peripheral resistance will result into increase in the blood pressure. The essential hypertension is seen in the initial stage. The cardiac output is increased with normal TPR. With passage of time, cardiac output drops and TPR is increased. The cause is unknown, but number of factors are related to it. It can be due to genetic factors or it can be due to racial and environmental factors. The other factors which include are age, sex, and smoking. Okay, the more is your age, the more is the chance. If you are a male, the chance is higher. And other causes are smoking, excessive alcohol intake, diabetes mellitus, etc. Now let's take a look towards the causes. The essential hypertension is caused by due to excessive salt, abnormal arteries, increased blood volume, genetic disorders, and stressful life. The secondary hypertension, it can be due to health conditions, means related to various diseases. It can be due to certain medicines. It can be due to recreational drugs, pregnancy, and hormonal therapy. Now, the renal hypertension, the secondary hypertension, it is less common, and based on etiology it is classified into four headings: renal hypertension, endocrine hypertension, hypertension associated with coarctation of artery or aorta, and neurogenic cause. Now first let's take a look towards the renal hypertension. Hypertension which is produced by renal disease is said to be renal hypertension. The renal hypertension, it is again of two types. It can be due to renal vascular hypertension, in which the major reason is blockage or occlusion of major renal artery, preeclampsia or eclampsia. The second type is renal parenchymal hypertension. In various types of, it is seen in various types of glomerulonephritis, neuropathy, amyloidosis, polycystic kidney diseases, etc. In either case, renal hypertension can be produced by one of the following pathogenic mechanism. Now, the first is activation of renin-angiotensin system. Okay, renal ischemia, sympathetic nerves, depressed sodium concentration, fluid depletion, decreased potassium. This all signals the liver to release renin. Now, the liver, it is responsible for synthesis and release of angiotensinogen. It is alpha 2 globulin. It is a decapeptide. Angiotensin 1, it acts along with the renin. Renin acts on this angiotensinogen and it converts it into angiotensin 1. Now in lungs, this angiotensin 1, which is a decapeptide, which is an octapeptide, it is converted to angiotensin 2 with the help of enzyme convertase. Now angiotensin 2, most potent naturally occurring vasoconstrictor. The angiotensin 2, its pressor action is attributed to peripheral arterial vasoconstriction. Also, it stimulates the adrenal cortex to secrete aldosterone, which reabsorbs sodium and water. So, renin-angiotensin system is concerned mainly with three functions: control of BP by altering plasma concentration of angiotensin 2 and aldosterone, regulation of sodium and water content, regulation of potassium balance. The next reason is sodium and water retention. Blood volume and cardiac output are regulated by blood sodium level, which maintains the ECF volume. Sodium concentration is regulated by three mechanisms: release of aldosterone, reduction of glomerular filtration rate. Now, the blood pressure, any stimulus which either it can be reduced blood pressure or reduced blood flow to the kidneys. It is detected by the juxtaglomerular apparatus in the kidneys. They release renin. Now, angiotensin is converted to angiotensin 1 with the help of this renin. Again, in lungs, this ACE, okay, convertase enzyme converts angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2. It is major vasoconstrictor. In adrenal cortex, it is responsible for release of aldosterone. In turn, aldosterone is responsible for salt and water retention by the kidneys. So in both the cases, okay, so what is happening here? Due to vasoconstriction, there is increased blood pressure, and due to aldosterone, there is increased blood volume. Okay, so together it is going to increase your blood pressure. So here again, the same things are described. Now let's take a look towards the release of vasodepressor. The number of vasodepressor material and hypertensive sensitive counterbalance vasopressor effect of angiotensin 2. These substances include prostaglandin, etc. Endocrine hypertension. Number of hormonal secretions may produce secondary hypertension as adrenal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, and oral contraceptives. Coarctation of aorta. It causes systolic hypertension in upper part of the body due to constriction itself. And neurogenic cause is due to psychogenic, polyneuritis, increased intracranial pressure, but these are uncommon. So we can say sodium intake, renal function, and mineral corticoids, they're responsible to alter the cardiac output. And sympathetic nervous system, hormonal factors, local autoregulation, they are responsible for alteration of this peripheral resistance. So the effect of sympathetic nervous system is affected via vasoconstrictor alpha or vasoconstrictor beta effect. The hormonal action on peripheral resistance is mediated via vasoconstrictors, angiotensin, and catecholamines, or vasodepressor, prostaglandins, nitric oxide, etc. Now let's take a look towards the morphology. There is a marked hypertrophy of the heart, and mostly on the left side. There is enlargement and degeneration of the myocardial fibers with local myocardial fibrosis. In advanced cases, there might be myocardial edema and necrosis. The weight of the heart increases to 500 grams or more. Thickness of left ventricle increases up to 20 centimeters. You can see here, there is hypertrophy. If hypertension progresses, there may occur hypertrophy on the right side as well. Now, what are the effects of hypertension? Mostly hypertension causes major effects in three main organs. The first one is heart, and its blood vessels, nervous system, and the kidney. Diagnosis, you have to go for a BP measurement, and to measure the BP, sphygmomanometer is used. Normal BP is 120 by 80. Pre-hypertensives, they are in the range of 120 to 129, and diastolic is 80 to 89. Stage 1 hypertension is characterized by 140 to 159 systolic and 90 to 99 diastolic. Stage 2 is at or greater than 160 by 179 systolic and 100 to 109 diastolic. Physical examination is includes your medical and family history, physical examination, ophthalmoscopy, chest X-ray, electrocardiograph, blood and urine test. Physical examination includes BP measurement at different type and in different positions. Treatment is there is no cure for primary hypertension. Secondary hypertension can be treated with combination of the medicines and lifestyle changes. Treatment of lower BP include changes in diet, regular exercise, antihypertensive drugs. Lifestyle changes includes reducing salt intake, fat intake, weight loss, regular exercise. You have to quit smoking, reducing alcohol consumption, and stress management. When a person suffers from severe hypertension, a combination of therapy is given. First, you can give diuretics because this helps the kidneys to remove the excessive salt and water from the body, from the tissue, which will reduce the swelling, and there will be dilation of the wall of the arteries, and ultimately it will lower the BP. This is the first choice of drugs. You can also go for beta blockers, calcium channel blockers, AC inhibitors, alpha blockers, alpha beta blockers, vasodilators, peripheral acting adrenergic antagonist. The prognosis mostly includes there is no cure, but you can control with proper treatment. You have to go for medications, which mostly includes antihypertensives. You can also go for lifestyle changes. You have to control the BP. It is important to detect and treat it before damage occurs. The antihypertensive drugs control the BP, but it does not cure it. Preventive measures includes you have to restrict the salt intake, you have to restrict fat intake, you have to lose your weight, you have to go for regular exercise, you have to quit smoking, you have to reduce alcohol intake, and you have to manage stress. This is the most important thing. So this was all about hypertension, and thank you for watching.